Mr. Mark Tremonti, welcome to LINEA ROCK.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you for such a special project. Actually, the noblest of purposes is the spark behind this. Mark Tremonti sings Frank Sinatra. Hats off to you, man, for this special project. And I must say that you really took a chance for charity this time.
Yes, I did. And I'm glad I did it. I'm very proud of it. Couldn't be happier and more excited about getting it out there.
This is a very ambitious and challenging project on many levels, artistically and charity-wise. It's like no boundaries at all. First off, why Sinatra, the voice himself? Not the easiest, I must say. I mean, who dares wins, but you really dared this time.
I'm just obsessed. I love Frank Sinatra. I love everything he's done from his early career till the day he passed. I love everything he's done, and I was just obsessed. I just wanted to sing like Sinatra. And then once I found out that our daughter had Down syndrome, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a record, and I'm going to raise money for families with Down syndrome, and you know, it's maybe be my new life's purpose.
Did you ever see Sinatra live back in the days?
I wish I would have loved it.
It never happened. Okay, what makes Sinatra so timeless? Now that you know you knew him even more closely, it's been a passion of yours, but now that you sang the songs and did something so challenging, what would you say? What makes him so timeless?
He's, you know, I think for our generations, because you hear him when you're a child and you hear him through your whole life, whether you like Sinatra or not, you're going to hear him, and he's going to be part of your psyche. And since I was a kid, every Christmas I'd hear Frank Sinatra's voice, and he just always stood out as one of the smoothest, richest, quintessential big band singers. And I think outside of the Christmas songs, he got the world's best songwriters and guys like Cole Porter. And he worked with, I love his early stuff. That Axel Stordahl was his composer back in the day, and I loved that early stuff. And a lot of people nowadays don't get to hear a lot of it. So I wanted to dive deep into his catalog and show people another side of Sinatra. And he was also a very, very charitable man. You know, he raised $1 billion or more. I wanted to do this in his name to, you know, further push that part of his legacy.
Yeah, I was surprised, you know, by the list of the songs, as you said, some well-known, some deep cuts. Which was the criteria from the beginning? How did you do the selection? And did you do it by yourself?
Yeah, I did. I just sat with all the songs, and I would sing with them for hours and hours and hours, and just go as far into his catalog as I could to find any hidden gems that I might not have heard. Because even if you're a diehard Sinatra fan, you're going to find new songs that you haven't heard. He recorded over 1,400 songs, and then he sang on TV shows that he hosted, and he would sing, and they would record those. So he's sang thousands of songs, and I tried to dive in as much as I could to find my favorites and the ones that I could pull off the best, and ran with it. You know, I wanted there to be an equal balance of his popular songs versus songs that I just loved that were from his deeper catalog cuts.
If I'm correct, Strangers in the Night is not in there. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, Strangers in the Night's not on the list.
Why not?
You can't do them all, you know. It's I wanted a lot of songs to be on that list, but I only did 14, and 14 is a lot of songs.
Yeah, it is, I must say. And you involved the surviving members of Sinatra's orchestra in this project. How did you get in touch with them? And I know that you didn't do it by yourself. You weren't alone.
A lot of help on this project. Tim Turnier is my manager, and he, when I talked about this project with him, he said, you know, my guitar teacher growing up was Frank Sinatra's touring guitar player. So he had an in with Dan McIntyre, which is his name was. And so he scheduled a lunch with Dan, and then Dan invited Mike Smith, who was Frank Sinatra's band leader, to a lunch, and told him about the project I wanted to do. And they said, "Can he sing?" My manager had never heard me sing Frank Sinatra, but being my manager, he believed in me. He's like, "Yeah, of course he can." So I got on my cell phone and I sent my manager a clip of me doing "They Call You Lady Luck," to kind of show him what I've been working on. So we hit the ground running with 14 tracks.
Fantastic. And does the choice, of something apparently so far from your musical world have something to do with the fact that before your direct experience, you saw the Down syndrome as a distant world as well, in a sense, as if, to emphasize that this is something different all around?
Well, it just worked. The stars just kind of aligned in that way. I was really, really obsessed with singing like Frank Sinatra, probably about a year and a half before I found out that my daughter was going to have Down syndrome. Before I found that out, I was wondering, I would love to do something with the Sinatra songs, but I don't know if it fits into my career in any way. So once I found out, that's when the stars aligned. I said, you know what? There was a reason for me to be so obsessed with Frank. There's a reason why I'm doing this. And now the reason is clear. And because it's so different from my other things, I started this organization called Take a Chance for Charity, which challenges other people to do something that their fan base wouldn't see coming. Something so far different from what they're doing. Something they could either be good at it or just have fun taking a chance and not be good at it and still raise money for charity. But if people go to TremontiSingsSinatra.com, you'll see the whole story behind it, and how anybody can take a chance for charity.
Which song was the most fun for you to do, and which one gave you the hardest time?
I think the most fun was probably "Fly Me to the Moon," because it was just that was the second recording session. So after I got my first one done, I was comfortable, and "Fly Me to the Moon" was the first song we did that day. And when you hear Frank Sinatra's band playing "Fly Me to the Moon" and you have to sing it, it was such an epic moment. So that was, gave me the chills. And then I think the hardest song is probably "Wave," because it has the deep note together, the real super deep note. And that note only comes out strong at certain points of the day for me. So that was a tough one.
Was the idea to keep it, true to the original versions?
Yes and no. We wanted to do half of the record like the originals and half of the record our own take on it. Because, we're going to hopefully get these songs played on Seriously Sinatra radio, on satellite radio. And they had asked us to do some different versions, because they don't want to just hear somebody trying to sound just like Frank Sinatra with the same arrangements. They want to hear somebody's own spin on things as well. So we took "My Way" and did it with nylon strings, guitar wise. And we did "I Fall in Love Too Easily." We added a rhythm section to that. "Wee Small Hours," we also added some upbeat rhythm section on the bridge of that song. "All or Nothing at All," "The Song Is You." We redid these songs just so we could have our own take on it.
I must admit, I've heard, I've got you under my skin, that surprisingly you are actually a perfect crooner. And I was, so surprised by that. What have you learned from this new and very different experience?
I've learned how to approach vocals differently. I've learned to be at peace with my lower voice, because as a guy, I always try to sing high and try to disguise my voice. But now I'm going to take more advantage of being able to sing deep and low and control it. And not all the time, but at certain moments where it's fitting. And when I analyzed the way Frank Sinatra sang, I'd look deeper into ever than I've ever dove into how to sing. So now when I approach my vocals, I will have a whole nother set of things to look at and think about before I sing.
And after this experience, will you be even more demanding with Myles Kennedy?
No, Myles is a way better singer than I'll ever be. He's got a lot to teach me.
Okay. And which are your expectations on this project?
You know, my biggest hopes are to get other people to take a chance for charity and have it just keep on spilling to new projects. And, you know, this is just hopefully the first project in a line of thousands, hopefully. You know, I want to raise $100 million for charity. That'll be a dream. Yeah.
Wow. And you painted also the cover yourself. Was this a choice, like to give it an extra edge? And did you actually paint the cover for the record, or it's a painting that you had done before?
Oh, my publicist, Kevin Tremonti, said, you know, Frank Sinatra was a painter and you're a painter. You should think about painting the artwork. It'll be a cool another layer to this. So I took the challenge on, and it's funny, we're doing an interview right now in my art room. So
oh wow.
I can show you. So here's the cover right here.
Oh wow,
yeah.
This is the original one. All right.
So that's the cover, and then on the inside where the album goes, this is the sleeve where the record goes inside.
Yeah.
And then there, when you pull the records out, that's the piece of art there. So yeah, no, I love painting, and you know, it's been something I've loved for years. My father and my brother are both artists, and I've always enjoyed it.
Did you ever paint any of your guitars as well?
I painted a guitar for Elvis, my producer, just recently, and I asked PRS if they would give me some bodies so I could paint them, because we're doing a show here on May 14th to raise money for the charity, and I'm going to paint PRS bodies to auction off at the silent auction at the first show. Wow,
great. Do you have any other hidden passions that we don't know, which will be the next challenge for Mark Tremonti?
Well, I have one of my biggest loves is pinball, so I'm diving into doing music for pinball machines.
Okay.
Just, you know, it's just fun. You know, I love pinball, and hopefully one day I could help design a pinball machine. That would be another fun dream. I'm actually also working on a novel. I did the Dying Machine album where I wrote a novel to go along with the album, and I'm rewriting it right now, hopefully trying to get a publishing deal, and fingers crossed.
Yeah. And are you actually a pinball wizard?
I'm a huge pinball fan, but I'm not a great pinball player. I'm good, but I'm not I could never compete with tournament players.
Do you have any particular pinball machines at home? Like maybe old
ones?
A lot.
I've got a lot of pinball machines.
Oh wow. And which is the favorite one?
Medieval Madness is probably my favorite one of all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it difficult for you not to touch the guitar at all on this record? Were your hands itching in a sense?
No, you know, I wanted to just focus on the vocals. It was nice. It was nice to be able to just focus on singing and not having to worry about comping these difficult songs. These are not easy songs to play on the guitar.
And do you think that the approach is easier when you do cover songs than, you know, when you record your own songs, or not?
Well, it's when I sing along with Frank Sinatra, I know he's doing it the absolutely right way. To me, you know, when I hear him sing, I want to replicate what he's done because I think he did it perfectly. When I'm singing my own songs, I have to kind of invent how it should be. And I almost wish I could write a song and then hear Frank Sinatra sing it, and then I could sing it again and use some of his tips on how I should sing it correctly.
Do you think he would be proud of this record?
I think he'd be proud that we're raising money in his name. You know, I think it's a good feel-good project, and it's doing a lot of good for people already. in the very first day, we raised over $100,000 in one day. So we're off to the races, changing a lot, hopefully helping a lot of people. And it's the happiest I could be when you're doing that.
The Tremonti tour has been postponed, and finally you're about to come back on stage. And July 6th, you will be in Milan at Alcatraz Club, and we cannot wait to have you back in Italy. Who will be opening the show, and can we expect some surprises in the set list, like maybe a couple of Sinatra songs?
If you supply me with 17 big band musicians, I'm happy to. But we don't do it. The band doesn't pull off Sinatra stuff.
Okay.
I don't know who the opener is going to be yet.
Okay.
I wanted to see if we could team up with Sleep Token, because they're my favorite new band that I've discovered. But they're already booked up on another tour, so I'm not sure who we're going to be going out with.
Okay, so still in the plans.
Yeah.
So you took Wolfgang Van Halen first on an Extra Family World Tour back 5-6 years ago, maybe more. Did you ask, his father's permission back then at the time? Did you know Eddie? And what's the best memory that you treasure of him?
No, when Wolfie played with us, we were just friends. Wolfie was a fan of Alter Bridge, and he reached out to come to a show, and we became friends. And he would, when I was in Los Angeles, he'd say, hey, you want to come to see Van Halen rehearse? Like, of course, so I would go to, 5150 Studios, which is at Eddie Van Halen's house. And now I think Wolfgang actually moved in there after his death. But, I've got a lot of great memories. One is, I remember warming up. I was in Los Angeles warming up for a show, and Slash was there, and Eddie Van Halen was going to be there. And I think, lots of guitar players were there. It was an event that I really needed to practice for. And I was in the dressing room warming up, and I saw this person standing behind me, and it was Eddie Van Halen as I'm sitting there up. And we had a nice little chat. And he, during the show, I could just see him leaning on the rail, just smiling, watching the show, and proud of his son on stage. And, because it's one thing bringing Wolfie into Van Halen, I think he was proud to see him branching out and doing some other things outside of the band. And now everybody's so proud of him for what he's done with Mammoth. They're doing so great. And I'm sure his dad's looking down, and he's proud as he could be of his son.
Do you think that Wolfie deserved that damn Grammy that he didn't win?
I think so. I mean, I don't want to take it away from the Foo Fighters, but Dave Grohl had said, let's give some of these new artists some Grammys. Let's give new people a chance. A lot of people who win Grammys win like 20 of them, and then all these other people just go unseen. So it would have been nice. I was actually in the studio with Elvis Basquet, my producer, when that award was being given out, and he was part of that album, part of that song, so he would have won a Grammy. So he was watching and listening, and now he just jokes about it. He's like, I'm the producer who lost a Grammy, at least.
And Wolfie said also that his father lost the Grammy the very first time. So, that maybe makes sense.
Yeah.
Distance is such a great song, and it's very intense, and has, in a sense, something to do with what you did for Stella, which is very, very intense. So bring really all the best from us to your daughter.
I will.
And very last question for today, with Alter Bridge, what's the status at the moment?
I'm in the studio right now. Drums are being tracked every day. We finished pre-production about 4 days ago. So we went through 14 songs and got them all ready to go. And then we had to get rid of 2 of them. So we're recording 12. So that's the toughest thing of pre-production is sacrificing your songs. So we have 12 songs that we're going to record. Brian will start on bass sometime this week, and then I'll be next.
So 14, it seems your lucky number lately.
Yeah, we're only 12 on this record.
Okay. And do you think that this experience will some way influence Alter Bridge some way?
Well, it didn't on this record.
Maybe next one.
Different though, but I'm only I think I'll be singing 1 song on the Alter Bridge record. So we'll see how that influences my vocals.
Thanks very much for your time, Mark.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and really hats off for what you did. And you really did it great, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It's really immense what you've done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Grazie.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Grazie.
Bye-bye.